joining me on the first Quickfix podcast thing. I think that's just what it's going to be called. Yeah, I'll introduce you all to each other. I'll go with who I've known the longest, Chris. Known each other for ages. He's an awesome producer, rapper. Started in Oxford, which is where we met, and then he's now in London and I'm in Bath. And yeah, I grabbed him to work with Quickfix immediately upon hearing his stuff because he was just so good, and he's only got better and better as time has gone on. And as you can see, I'm a big fan. Yeah, so don't know what more I can say about Chris. That seems like a nice introduction. Any more I say, probably your opinion of him would go down, I guess, because we know.
Probably, yeah, probably. Well, it's a pleasure to be here anyway. Appreciate being on the first Quickfix podcast. Big milestone for Quickfix. So
yeah, well, it's great to have you on it as like kind of, you know, like long-standing artist now at this point. Outside of myself, which doesn't really count, does it? So, like, you know,
I think it counts.
Then it's really nice. It's really nice to have you on it anyway. So, and then Tash obviously is just. We've been working a little bit. I met her through social media. Half Decent was a guest at one of her gigs, and I saw a clip of that, and I was like, "Oh, who's that? That's really cool." And then started following her, and then realized that she mixed one of his songs as well, and so then it was like, oh wow, multi-talented. And then I got her to mix something of mine and put some bass and vocals, and that's gone really well, and asked her to be the first of the new single of the month kind of singles club thing that we're doing via the label. And so yeah, you're in Southeast London. I'll get it right this time, as I got it wrong last time.
Yes, right. I'm
I learn as I go. And yeah, you play bass and sing and produce and mix and things like that as well. Would you say that was an accurate?
Yeah, anything that's like sound related, I'd do something to do with it. Yeah.
Awesome. And Jennie is a recent acquaintance. We've recently met again via the wonders of the internet. Jennie was in a group called the Bellestars, who are very influential London pop, mixed with ska, mixed with punky kind of elements and all sorts of stuff. Like we were kind of in that kind of awesome British scene that kind of made a lot of the transition between the underground and the kind of pop scene of the next kind of generation, going out of kind of punk and the outside kind of after effects of punk into kind of what then I guess later became new romantic even and stuff like that. So that kind of mid period there.
We were new romantic, but that's what followed after us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it's like the joining. You're like the building blocks between the two in a strange way.
You say you love me, but want success. I say you're lying. Nothing has changed. This is a sign of the times. Peace of more to come. This is a sign of the times. Time to be alone. My mama told me if I was goody that she would burn me a rubber darling. My auntie told her I kissed a soldier. Now she won't burn me a rubber darling.
Look at my king all dressed in red. Aiko, aiko, I let. Get your $5, he'll kill you dead. Check him up in our neck. Talk about henna, henna. Aiko, aiko, I let. Check him up in our neck. Check him up in our neck.
And then since then has been like a musical maverick, like dotting about doing tons of different diverse projects, from ska to electronic to more rock things to all sorts of stuff. An author,
So you name it, I've done all of them.
and an author as well, written a book. So you're kind of here in our respected position as a veteran of the industry to impart your wisdom onto us and everybody watching and listening.
You know a lot more than I do. Yeah.
Well,
you know a lot more about the new stuff than I do.
Well, I guess the proof of the pudding will be in the eating over the next few years, won't it? We'll find out one way or the other, won't we? So welcome to everybody. Hello, and is there anything that anybody had even to say just off the back of what I just said there?
It's great to meet you all, actually.
Yeah.
I know I've met Tash and
Your
Lee.
backdrop's amazing. Where did you get it? Where's the backdrop from?
I'm in space right now. Like this is why
Okay.
everybody else is like worried about the pandemic, and I'm just drifting above the planet, going, what's the concern? Do you know what I mean?
It's the backdrop, man. I love it. It's good.
Yeah, I think you can do it. I think if you fiddle about on your Zoom, I don't want to lose you, so don't play about too much.
Okay. The next one, because I love that. You know, it's brilliant.
There's a few you can do. There's like one with wavy grass and stuff, and or something as well. And yeah, it kind of the illusion is shattered if I move in certain ways, because then you can see my sofa just pop up and little things like that. So yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I have to stay very still.
Okay.
I have to stay very still to keep from shattering the illusion. But yeah. So wicked. So thanks for joining us. You're all always quite busy, actually. So it's funny to say that you've all got stuff going on, because you all are the kind of people who always seem to have stuff going on. So I guess I was going to try and talk to each of you a bit about what you've got going on, and then if any of the other two want to jump in with any questions, the more the merrier kind of thing. And so then we kind of just go around like that, and then we'll get into some videos in a bit or whatever, just to give everybody a bit of a context, I guess. So yeah, I'll start with you, Tash, as for some reason the screen has just like chucked you on the front, like it's the fate deciding, I guess. So you, as people who've been following all the Quickfix social media will probably realize, hopefully by now, you are the first single of the month person. Did you enjoy making that song Human for us?
Yeah, I did, because that was one that I had, like, it was just there for a while. It wasn't actually a song, it was just like random ideas, and I wanted to use it for something and I didn't know what, and then you came to me with your idea and I thought, oh yeah, I'll use it for that.
Awesome.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun, definitely.
And you got like obviously Benja involved, which was like, I guess, also made it like something a bit different.
Yeah, so he like did all the sound effects to make like it sound like a spaceship or whatever. Yeah. It sounds really weird to people that haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, so. Sorry, the concept of well, why don't you explain the concept of the song? Sorry, you're going to have to do this like a million times. So
I know. Now it's starting to sound really weird every time I say it. So it's just like, it's basically from the point of view of an alien who's come to Earth, and he's kind of like, he was excited at first, and then he realizes what human beings are actually like, and he realizes that the bad ones always tend to get what they want, and the good ones.
That sounds a bit familiar.
Did I steal it?
Right now, that sounds exactly what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's nice to feel prescient, like releasing music. It is like, I feel like one of the most important things about music is that it comments, if not specifically on like specifics of the time, then at least it kind of gives you a feel of what, you know, living in the time kind of might have felt like or whatever, because obviously they're like these crazy documents that we do actually keep for ages and ages, like records. You know, people listen to records that were made, you know, like in completely different times now, in this day and age. And so they are one of the few documents. They're much more likely to hear a record than they are going to like read up on a history book of what it was like in a specific decade or whatever. So in a strange way, it's kind of one of the important things that you can do if you're involved in music at all, is that kind of your stuff it feels of the time. Do you know what I mean? Like hopefully beyond as well. And I think there are obviously universal truths that kind of stay true over long periods of time, unfortunately in most cases, but yeah, it's cool. It's a perfect start to the year, in a strange way. Like even the track really eases in like really nicely and gently, and obviously it was arriving in people's inboxes on the 1st, so it was like on potentially a hangover day, on potentially a day of like the new year, what's to come and everything. So it's a real nice kind of let's ease into this year, and then it kind of picks up pace as it goes along and everything. But it's a definite kind of, yeah, it was a really, really nice way to start the year for me anyway, because I was all involved in sending it all off and everything. So yeah.
Since I've been bad, everything is fine. People pay me back all my money in time, and now I'm fine. Love is a crime. Before they didn't want me, now they wanna be mine. And I got the power, I got fear and respect. So I'm drinking whiskey, thinking damn what's next. I wanna be human. I wanna walk and talk exactly like you do. If I was human, yeah. I wanna be a bad one, bad one, bad one. I wanna be human, yeah. I wanna walk and talk exactly like you do. If I was human.
I thought it was really good, Tash, that like most of last year, and you probably correct me if I get the exact dates wrong, but the 13th of every month you were releasing a single, and then you became the first artist in the singles club of Quickfix. I thought that was really fitting, because it was kind of like, well, Tash has been doing this for, I think it was at 6 to 8 months, or was it the entire year?
Yeah, no, it was about 8 months. I think 7, 8. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually thought that the first single, of the Human that you released off of the Quickfix Singles Club, I really liked that the production sounded different to all of the ones that you had done kind of previously, month on month. I don't know why, but sonically it felt like there was something extra in it. So it was really good for someone like myself who's now been following you for those, waiting for your monthly singles. Not only was it great that another monthly single, like another single came out, but it just felt like there was this, like you've taken yourself to the next level as an artist as well, to kind of encompass this kind of atmosphere that I don't know if it was present before. I don't know if that was on purpose, but it was just an insight I had when listening to Human. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it kind of like because it didn't really fit on the EP in a way, so I kind of like wanted it to have. I don't think it would fit on anything really. It had to be on its own,
Right,
I think. And it was good to do the whole like having a deadline thing as well. Again, because I became like really lazy for the past few months.
How most
Especially
things
after you
get
just finished something, you're either fired up and you like make a load of songs, but I'm not sure you finish. I always start a load of songs after I've just released something, but I never finish. Like I just have a load of ideas, a flurry of ideas, and they're all sketches. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But that's the key, though, isn't it? That's the key. If you're an artist, I always finish. I always tell people finish the track.
Yeah.
Finish the track, because if you don't, then it's just like you can go through all these tracks, and I've got them on my computer. I mean, I should, and I tell everybody else, and sometimes I don't, most of the time I don't do it myself. But to finish tracks that you know that are really good, I always make sure I finish them, and then I line them up, and then just go to the studio. But Tash, I wanted to ask you a question. Why the 13? Why?
Oh, well, it was my birthday, so November the 13th was the first one I put out, which was 13. I don't know why I made that such a big deal. Why it had to be.
No, but it's a
Memorable,
good question. Actually, there must have been a reason. I was a bit kind of nosy. Why did you? No, because I work in 369. You know, I like Tesla, old Tesla, and he works in 369, and there's some kind of geometry thing going on there. And so Lee said to me, "Oh, how many tracks?" And I'm like, "Well, as long as it's either 3, 6, or 9. That's which one I want to work with." Remember, Lee?
Yeah.
And I just, when somebody like puts an importance on a number, so you put an importance, right, it's coming out on the 13th. There's got to be a reason for it. So I was just like curious to know what it was.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe deep down there's like a deeper reason. But But there must have been, because like, why did it matter? I could have said every month and put it out at a different month, a different day or whatever. So like, I don't know, I'm asking you now, even though it was my own song.
Then why don't you just, when you get off here, just like look up like 13, what does the number mean? Because it might speak to you then, do you know what I mean? I know it sounds a bit airy-fairy.
It's funny that you're saying it. The girl who I've got, there's a artist that I've got remixing Tash's single, and she said that the number 13 has been popping up loads for her lately. And then when she went to like look at Tash's stuff, it was like, oh, the 13th, and she was like, oh, right, okay, it's meant to be.
Yeah, that could have been it. That could have been the answer.
Something going, so there's something going on, isn't there? And I had an album that was called The Joker, The Unlucky 13, and The One That Got Away. So I've even had like a little 13 link in there as well. So yeah, so there's something going on. Definitely, we should investigate this numerology business more. Really, I might be able to. Yeah, time to actually brush up on maths before I get into that, I think. But yeah, so awesome. And yeah, whilst we're on it, 13th. I mean, it was like I listened to it tons over last year. I would say I listened to that as much as I listened to any album that anyone that I follow all the time released that year, kind of thing. So like, just awesome job, like for something as well that was made under like kind of these strict circumstances, if you know what I mean. You don't really know that it's all even going to be usable. If I set myself that kind of task, I might be like, oh, there's another one for me then anyway. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is of a really high standard. I mean, obviously it's not just you, like there's a load of musicians and everything, but the way that you pull stuff together and you manage to retain your own identity, which is quite what Chris was saying earlier about, like, you know, you had this thing and he was listening to each single come out, and then this one seems like a step on. It's cool because it does seem like a 2.0 or a kind of something, like it's like a redesign or something. It definitely retains the things that the hallmarks or signatures of what I associate with your music, but it kind of like pushes it into this new dimension, which is quite interesting.
I think there was definitely a realism of like everyday life. And this is just my perspective of it, Tash, but like all of the stuff you were doing on the 13th, it was always like it tied to an emotion. And then what's really interesting with Human is it ties to what somebody like what aliens' emotions could be. And I think like it's like, yeah, I think that's definitely the difference. Yeah, it's
perspective
really solid. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, wicked, cool. Yeah, okay. So like let's just get on to Chris then, as you now you're on camera, so let's do that. So you released your first album after like how many EPs? Like 1,000 EPs, like, and mini albums and stuff, like so many at this point, and mixtapes and stuff like that. That's cool. And you released your first like full length, and it properly was a full length, big concept kind of album this year, and that must have end of last year, sorry. And then you're now following that up with a kind of related mixtape version of the album to drop in on February 2nd, which is Groundhog Day itself. Yeah. So
the album was out in late August, early September, and it's called Groundhog Day. You can get it pretty much everywhere. And the whole idea was almost like the concept of the movie Groundhog Day, which has Bill Murray in it, if you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it wasn't purposely made like that. As I kept trying to make this album, things kept resetting and I wasn't able to do it. Like my hard drive would crash and then I'd remake the songs or the beats, or I would try and do a song a certain way and it wouldn't quite work, and then I'd always revisit it. And it felt like it wasn't quite 1,000 releases, but it was around. I think Groundhog Day might be my 15th actual release that doesn't include like mixtapes, singles, or EPs. And it just felt like the most fitting name for it. And obviously because I couldn't really sample stuff from the movie or anything like that, the album does tell a story of, which is my version of Groundhog Day, but being a musician and my journey through music. So if you want to kind of figure out what the last 15 years has been like for a, you know, independent rapper producer from Oxford or London, you can listen to that album and you'd get that understanding. But the mixtape's actually going to be a lot of the same songs, but kind of done over kind of popular hip hop beats. So kind of taking it back to the way that kind of DJ Green Lantern and DJ Semtex would make mixtapes that show kind of a rap over more of a popular beat, like maybe a Timbaland beat or something like that. But it's going to have a bunch of new songs in there, some remixes, and it's going to tell the album a new story that ties in with the movie. So it'll involve parts of the movie Groundhog Day and tell the album in a different format. So that's quite a good project. I'm just finishing that up now, and then that should be out on Groundhog Day.
It's the copyright violation version, basically, isn't it?
It's the bootleg. It's the bootleg of the album, which is fun.
Which is funny that like legally speaking, it kind of even says something about the whole creative process, that like the version that you can actually include the bits of Groundhog Day and everything and actually tell kind of the story at its fullest is the one that you can't really release yourself, and that's the one that's kind of coming out on the actual Groundhog Day. Do you know what I mean? It says something about the struggle of the creative process versus the business process.
It was also, it was quite freeing in a way though, because the fact that the album name came to me like whilst I was in making the album. So I wasn't trying to make an album based off of the movie when I was making the album, but now that the album's done, and I'm a fan of the movie anyway, I was like, well, can I actually retell this story in a new, exciting way as well? And I think I've pulled it off. If I'm sure I'll find out if it's worked or not. But
in case there's any doubt for any like newcomers to Chris, like he doesn't need to rap over anybody else's beats. He's got like more beats than anybody like tucked away, like that are amazing and in all kind of different genres, and he's like been releasing like tons of great instrumentals for years, and he's been releasing his own stuff which has some of the most tight production on it and everything. So it's literally, when he does something like this, it's for artistic expression and fun, not like some kind of like, oh please, do you know what I mean? Kind of plea of desperation or lack of any ideas on your own kind of front.
Yes, I think it'll be the first. I've always had the idea of like doing a mixtape based off of a film, but I never knew like which one to start with, or like what actually gave me a creative drive to do it. Like what would be the most fun to do, or how would I do it? And
less pressure than Blues Brothers, right?
Yes, that's the one that a lot of my friends say I should do, a Blues Brothers one, which is a big inspiration for me and one of the reasons why I got into music. But I don't know if I'd be able to pull it off with the amount of rhythm and soul and all the blues of the great Aretha Franklin and you know, James Brown and Ray Charles and everybody that was involved in the original movie. For me to try and pull it off by myself just by rapping and sampling, I think I'd probably ruin it.
Give it another 10 years. See
and I've got to be two people in that. I've got to be both Jake and Nell Woods. Like, but, you never know. Maybe one day I'll be able to pull it off. Maybe a short EP or something.
I guess I really shouldn't stress. I want a fresh start, a new day, I'm in a hurry, but it's February 2nd and I'm Bill Murray. I lived in the past and tomorrow is a worry, cause it's February 2nd and I'm Bill Murray. It's February 2nd and I'm Bill Murray. It's February 2nd and I'm Bill Murray. Alarm clock, wait, yes, stressed inside this cold bed. Think about the day ahead before I get dressed. I used to be forgetful, sweating life stressful. Problems I had several to pour on instrumentals.
thoughts I would wrestle as I hold on to my temple. Now it's just another level, cause I try to be a rebel, try showing potential, remain calm and revel. Riding down the hill with no feet on the pedals. It's not a death wish, you don't know my credentials. My own flow's special, cause the snow never settles. Unique with each day, nothing else will change. Unless I wanna learn more, be better with my ways. I grew up on Blue Peter and Bleep Test. This paper mache weak vest keeps me running deep.
Wicked. And yeah, so I was going to say, and obviously you and Tash have worked before, so I was just wondering, like, Tash, I presume you've heard Chris's record, and I was just wondering, whether you had any thoughts on it or anything to say or anything.
I just like Chris's style in general. Like, I kind of like, I'm drawn to people that kind of, it's honesty that I'm drawn to. Like, when an artist feels like they're being honest and not trying to put on some sort of persona or anything, and they're talking about real things in real life that you can actually go, yeah, that's happened to me. Like, I don't know which video it is. It might have been Groundhog Day, actually, where you're just sitting in your house, just like...
So yeah, the track's called Bill Murray, but it tells the
Bill
story
Murray,
of the movie. Yeah. So it is. It's kind of like the title track for the album. So it's funny you mentioned that one, because I filmed that the day after the last gig that we had together, which was the gig right before the lockdown was announced.
Yeah.
So I think it was. So we managed to do a show the day before lockdown was announced, and then the day lockdown was announced, I was in a rush and I just filmed that video, because I was just like, I have to, like, I've got to be outside for a bus stop and things like that. But most of it had to be done in the house. But yeah, hopefully it worked. But I'm glad that comes across, Tash, because I try not to. I mean, with a name like Half Decent, I'm not really trying to impress anyone straight off the bat. Like, it's like...
I was just about to say, I was just about to say, I think that's one of the coolest things, is that, like, from the outset, like, when, like, because I knew Chris when he was still going by Chris Martin, and he had a entertainment company called Half Decent Entertainment that put out his records and put on gigs and stuff like that. And I was like, you should be Half Decent. Like, it's such a good name, and it's not taken, so it's definitely take, like, and anytime you have a good idea and it's not taken, I just think you should try it, kind of thing. But yeah, but also it's really, you know, I said your style is like, it's not like self-depreciating, but it's realistic in a kind of, you know, you're not trying to play some kind of, especially against what hip hop was about, and certainly building up. That was like when hip hop had really started to go all about the bling and the, you know, and everything, and the cars and the money and the girls and the etc. Yeah, exactly. No, you're allowed to say it. That's fine.
Yeah, I try to only rap about things that I've either seen or that I've been involved in. And then if it ever changes from that, it's more a storytelling point of view. So I try and write a song that is a story about, like, kind of maybe social things or anything really. But yeah, there's not too much bragging in my music. And if it is, it's always tongue in cheek anyway. It's like, you know, all right, I'll show that I can do a good verse that has great wordplay or flow in it.
Yeah, funny bragging in it. Yeah.
It's more a party trick at that point. It's not the substance. It's just, all right, this is me rapping a certain way, and then I can also do this over here.
Plus it's, you know, good to remind anyone who's wondering anytime, like, whether you can kind of give them a good beat down or something, like, quite easily, or like whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe just to let them know, just in case they wonder. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can unleash this at any point, you realise, kind of thing. Jenny, okay, so I already said so much stuff that like you've been like doing over like the span of your life, but in the most recent little time, you've been like hugely active, obviously, politically, and with your charity stuff, and like you've been well, before COVID you were doing some gigging and stuff at various festivals and stuff like that, but you now have just been working on, you just had a big flurry over Christmas because you had some time off and everything. So, and just before that you were working on some stuff. So I just wanted to talk to you a bit about that, and like, you know, just...
I do poetry clubs.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Poetry.
Yes.
Poetry. And
Yeah.
so lately, just because, I mean, I get given an awful lot of different stuff from loads of artists, and it ranges from, the ranges of just, it could be acoustic, it could be, my friend's, he's got a couple of, he's got some ska stuff, so I do a bit for him because he used to be in a band called Bad Manners. Remember Bad Manners?
Very much so.
So he's the original keyboard player, and he likes what I do. We get on really well, so I do writing with him. And then I work a lot with Adrian Sherwood. I just call up Adrian. I'm like, I need a few tracks. I'm bored. And so he'll send me 10 tracks. Out of that 10 tracks, I might write 4. One of the ones that you want. In fact, there's a few of the ones that you like on there that you want.
There's a lot.
And but then there's a band called Dog Tablet, and they come from, I can't remember the old band that they were from, Test Department. Now Test Department used to be a not electronic, what is it called when it's I can't remember what
industrial
the name. Anyway, but another band totally different off the mark. And so yeah, they send it to me, and the thing is, it doesn't really matter what kind of genre it is. For me, if I like it, I'm going to write on it. If I don't like it, I'm not. If I hear it, it's a bit like Chris says, I'm as kind of like, I write about either how one feels, how I feel, or how I think another person might feel, or like Chris says, the social thing. And at the moment, it's the global thing. I'm writing about global issues because there's a shitload going on. Yeah. So I use all that as fodder for, the sketches that I'm writing. I just call them sketches, because they are in the end. Because you go, right. I mean, you gave me that artist the other day. Is Andy?
Subtheory, yeah. Chris knows Andy. Yeah, so Jenny's working on a track for Andy at the moment.
I thought they were your tracks at firstly. Anyway, so you gave me a couple of them, and then you passed me on to this guy. I was like, what are you doing that for? And then I realised, oh, it's not your track. Okay, it belongs to this guy. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I listened to it. I thought, yeah, it wasn't really my vibe. But then that doesn't mean anything, right? That doesn't mean anything, because I can come into the next day, which is what happened yesterday. I was just about to run off to the park, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to hit this whilst I'm, getting ready. And it was that track Sundown.
Right.
And within 10 minutes, finished the track.
Done.
Within 10 minutes. Totally different melody. I couldn't find anything for it before. So that doesn't mean anything when you I'm not feeling it. But all of a sudden, if you're doing something mundane and you're just walking around the flat and that's the backdrop to your moment, and all of a sudden, ding, 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 intuition goes, come on, we're doing a bit of writing, and that's it. And he's got the track now. I gave it to him last night. Wicked.
Awesome. Yeah, excited to hear that. He was texting me earlier saying that he was really excited about that, so that's great. It's wicked.
Yeah.
I love putting all these cool people together. Like Andy's so talented and making great stuff repeatedly. Chris has worked with him on a couple of tracks, isn't it?
Yeah, I was on the debut album of his hip hop duo that he had, hip hop electronic duo that he had called Death of Hi-Fi. And then we've done a few bits and bobs here and there throughout. And the new Sub Theory stuff that he's doing is really incredible. That kind of whatever, I think some people call it retro wave, other people call it electronic. I think genres don't matter, right? That's what I think we all of us can agree. It's like you say, once that inspiration hits you, it doesn't matter what it is. You can just vibe with it, and
it depends on what mood you're in as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everything comes into play. You may be feeling really strongly about what's happening in America at the moment, or what's happening around the corner with your next door neighbour or something, or something might have pissed you off. You might have got mugged that day. You're going to talk about mugging, and you're thinking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of those things come into play, but mood has got a lot to do with it as well. I find that if I'm uplifted, and I was when I wrote Sundown, he called the track Sundown, and I turned it into Sunrise.
Right.
Because my initial thing was right, I'm going out to the park to get uplifted, right? Because I love a bit of nature. And so his track was called Sunrise. So I thought, right, well, I'm going to split the difference and I'm going to call it Sunrise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But having said that, there's a political element. There's usually a political element to every one of my songs. But it was about sunrise, and then it was talking about night, going to bed afterwards, and then waking up in the morning as a warrior because you got shit to do. You've got to fight. It's about the story of like fighting good and evil. Do you know what I mean? And that's what that story's about. Yeah.
It's really interesting that you touched on moods there, but then also the difference of kind of the mood of the production when that was made, and then the writing and when that was made. And it's something that I find myself, I'll produce the most kind of energetic tracks, but then when I try and write to them later, I might not be in the same mood. So it comes across as a darker tone lyrically. I always find that quite a struggle. But I also feel like sometimes it adds to the track to have the combination of both. Like it can feel uplifting, but lyrically it's maybe not. But yeah, so moods are such a big part of it, especially during just the creative process.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like,
but you know what? Is it Chris? Is Chris your name? Chris?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's also like, you know, you've got there's certain energies around the track. You know, you can just like you can walk in, like I said, one day, and I couldn't think of anything, and then like, you know, then the following day I could think of something, but the first day when I listened to Sundown, I thought, oh no, it's not my kind of track, but I wanted to try something on it anyway. When people send me a track, I always get my phone out, recorder on, and I'll just sing anything that comes to mind. So what I did with that one was I sang The Bleeding Obvious. When I was now walking around the place a few days later, it was something that went totally against the grain. And so the beats were the way they were, but I came up with something totally different, just totally different. And it was just like, and I like that going against the grain and the not so obvious. Do you know what I mean? It makes it more original.
Yeah.
You know, and I like original stuff. You know?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's certain songs where the lyrics might actually be quite cheerful, but it's sad, and so I don't really see it doesn't really matter. Like
no, I mean it doesn't matter.
Smokey Robinson's.
It depends how you feel when you're listening as well. So I should say.
I was just saying, Smokey Robinson is an amazing example of someone who's writing like these heartbreaking lyrics with like these really like amazing, jaunty, upbeat like tunes. But meanwhile, it's very much a kind of the contrast works really nicely.
Wake up, world, get off of your knees. Wake up, people, what do you see? Wake up, world, don't be deceived. Don't let our world be governed by greed. Propaganda, fast and forming. Secret plans are sealed by morning. Freedom stolen, bankers swollen, greed aplenty by the self-acclaimed gentry, oligarchy, royal Nazis, and please don't get me started on the Illuminati. New World Order, symbolism, marks a date when we're all imprisoned. Russian roulette, phantom fate. Love has long been replaced by hate.
Cool. I guess we should probably move on to some videos and stuff. So I sent you all 3 videos. I thought I'd focus on, obviously there should be a kind of a disclaimer saying all of these are actually made during and put out during the pandemic. So like during fairly locked down circumstances and stuff like that. So with that bearing in mind, I mean, obviously, you know, like they should be, I guess, judged accordingly, both well and even better, if that makes sense, because at the moment, like, who's making videos and managing to do it? So they all get like a good pat on the back, at least from all of us, for just bothering to, you know, having managed to pull that together at all. But yeah, I thought I'd start with loads of cool ladies that are doing cool stuff around the place. So the first one, let's go for Kytoba. I think I'm saying that right. Is Kyetoba. And I don't know tons about her. She's a relative newcomer. She's from somewhere in England, West Midlands, I think, or something. And she does most of the stuff herself with the little help from some people now and then or something, is the impression that I got. And I gave you a track called Lemonade. She's done an EP and a couple of singles, I think, but this track particularly stuck out to me, and it had a video, so I thought, yeah, okay, I'll go with this one. So just just wanted to ask you what you guys thought of that. How I thought I'd grade it is because we need to make everything a competition, right? Especially music, more than anything. So I thought it would be like marks out of 3 for 3 different categories. So there's the video, the song, and then kind of just the artist in general, what kind of you thought of them as a thing, package, whatever, if you know what I mean. So yeah, yeah, I mean, we can go around in an order. Should we go, like, underneath me is Jenny on my readout, so should we just go down like that? So Jenny, what did you...
Well, I did write some notes.
Oh, wicked, awesome. Yeah, go for it.
I don't muck about, mate. Do you know what I mean? I don't fuck around.
You're serious about it.
I just wish that when I downloaded it, the words were a bit bigger, so I've got to put the old granny glasses on. Do you know what I mean? So, like, relative newcomer, you said female singer and multi-instrumentalist, which I kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
And you said that she's had some like BBC intro play.
Yeah.
So for the video, do you want me to give you the marks as well?
Yeah. Well, just give me. Why don't you tell me what you thought about it, and then give me the marks after.
Oh, okay, cool. I've done that too.
Cool.
Anyway, so I love the old. So I love the old and the new footage. Now I kind of really like that. Right, goes well with the song. Not sure about the shaky camera work at the beginning, because when you was looking at the video, you just like, that was some dodgy camera work there, but I don't know if that was deliberate or not. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been. You never know. It might be some kind of effect. It's definitely a low budget video. Yeah. But then, of course, we're on a low budget times, so you have to take that into the equation. I think I put down for the video. I think it's pretty good for a low budget video, and I like it. I liked all the different. I liked all the different things that arrived in front of my house. There's some really nice frames. Like there's one which seemed like it was from someone's holiday in America in the 80s or something, and it's like there's this. Yeah, but there was some really old footage there as well. Did you see it? Yeah. Like there was some really old footage there. Yeah. So that was kind of good. And then should I give you a number for that? Yeah, go on then. So I voted 2 on
I
it.
should write down these scores, shouldn't I?
Who did the video, by the way?
I actually don't know. I'll have to. I'll put up a credit on the.
If it was a friend of yours, I'd give it 3.
There's no need to be. There's no need to show any bias of any
No.
kind. But no, I'll try
I gave it 2.
Okay, cool.
No, I gave it 2 because, you know, just because of the current environment.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine, because like at the moment we're having to do stuff like that as well.
And and it suits the song really nicely at the end of the day. So like,
yeah,
great.
It does suit the song really nicely.
Yeah.
But I'm going on to the song, right? So I'm being honest here, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'll have you know, I listened to them twice.
Okay,
like,
great.
You know,
Yeah,
it's a big thing for me to do. I thought I'd do it nicely for you. Anyway, the song, it's nice, but not that strong where it matters, which I believe is the chorus. Right, that's what now. But there may have been a reason for that too, because like vocals are too low in the mix.
Okay.
I thought they were too low in the mix. As a vocalist, I like to hear the top, you know, the
up
vocal.
and above. Right.
They've got a message. It's called Lemonade. I can't hear it. So maybe that. I mean, she did have a very unusual melody. It was almost off key, but in a nice way. Did you hear it, Lee?
Yeah.
Have you heard it? Of course you heard that.
It's an earworm for me at the moment, so I really like that track. Like it's I find myself kind of doing it in my head, if you know.
I find, but coming from a vocalist point of view, you know, I'm always like one for, because all the people I write with, they make sure that my vocals are up to speed, right? You know, they're not so low down in the mix. I thought the music was good. I thought her singing was really cute and innocent. I really like innocent vocals. You know, she's accomplished. As a newbie, she's got a long way to go. But at the same time, she is good. She's not a shit artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's just got a lot to learn. And if anybody, it's good to hear critique, because she could go into a place. And I mean, my question to you was, does she do her own productions?
I think she does like a lot of it, and then sometimes someone else like mixes it for her or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I think it's one of those things where she could do it all, but then get some people to do other things. Sometimes.
Is she young?
I get the impression she might be like early 20s. It's hard to tell when you're just looking at faces on a internet.
The reason why I ask is like, look, if you're doing it yourself and you're a newbie, then obviously you're learning, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're this is veteran stuff we're talking here. Yeah. You know what I mean, Tash and Lee, right? This is veteran stuff. But back in the day, right, I fucking never used to open my mouth and do jack. But when I started doing my own stuff, I'm like, you know what? I can't hear myself, right? So I'm not promoting that shit. Do you know what I mean? Because like I'm lost. Why did I come to the studio? So you know, everybody now, because I work so much on all the songs, they give you a certain kind of respect. So if you come to the door, right, as a newbie and say, look, you know, actually, you're not being a diva. You're just saying, this is how I prefer my stuff to be. She's going to get to that mark in the future. I possibly would have liked that track a lot more if I'd heard her really nice vocals, because she's got really nice vocals.
Right, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying about that. I don't want to be too long on that. So,
no, that's cool, wicked. So what did you give the song then?
1.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
1 because of that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, right. Yeah.
And the artist, it says I can't comment much on the artist as she is not in the video. But as a newcomer to the stage, I feel that she has a lot going for her. I would be interested to know of how she does if she does everything herself with the production, because if she does, then maybe she might consider someone in that understands how to complement her nice vocals. Right. As an artist, I think she's good.
Right, awesome. I mean, or it might be the reverse, and maybe she's mixing herself down because of confidence. So I used to always mix myself really down in the mix vocally, and I've still all the time, everybody tells me that I don't mix my vocals high enough. Every so often I'll get a compliment someone where they actually say, hey, you actually mix your vocals well this time, kind of thing. Not quite that harshly, but you know, it almost
it makes a world of difference. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like vocalists, and a lot of people like messages, and they just want to hear the song so they can sing along to it. But when the meat of the vocal is lost within the track, then it's like, you know, you say it's an earworm, but for me, it's lost. I can't remember that because I'm a vocalist. So we're all coming from different angles. You know what I'm saying? Because as a musician, one might not want to think so much on the vocal. Who knows? You know, everyone's got a different way of looking.
It probably helps that I'm listening a lot of the time. I'm listening on pretty decent. When I listen to music, I'm listening on pretty decent headphones, and they're like sound cancelling and everything. So I'm like right in the mix when I'm like listening to things. So almost everything is clear enough, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so it might be a different, like that might make a difference as well. So yeah, so okay, so what did you give her number-wise as an artist then?
Two. I think she's a good artist.
Wicked. So then let's move over to Chris then. He's next on the block. What have you got to add about any of those really? Wherever you want to start.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, you mentioned quite a lot of fair points there, Jenny. I think the chorus, or the lack of chorus, actually did throw me off when I first listened to it. And then the video actually had the lyrics. So I took a look of the lyrics, and it felt like it was structured more like a poem, which actually made me a little bit more intrigued about why the song was created or anything like that. So I then listened again, and then I think maybe that's where I started picking up, obviously after reading the lyrics, picking up more of the words. And I think the video really suited like the lo-fi kind of production of the drums. And that then, I don't know if it felt to me that that's what was coming across in the actual song, that it was more of a, it felt a little bit more like a vibe than a well-produced like hit single of course. And if we're listening to, I think as I was taken into it, I just kept being more and more intrigued about the artist, and I think that's a good thing. Like to watch it and go, okay, I don't have all the answers.
I don't know,
but it means that I'll most likely listen to more songs and the EP because I don't have all the answers off of that one thing. And even us here are asking these questions: what's her age? Like, does she do everything herself? Does she work with somebody else? I think
that's good, isn't it? That's right.
Really
Yeah,
works
that's exactly what
because until like you say, Jenny, until she starts working with more people, if she is a new artist,
she needs to grow.
She's just going to get the experience over and over again. And until then, what she's done quite well is made us at least. It didn't make me not want to listen again. I thought it was interesting how it just started straight away. Drums came straight in. There was no build. That just made me realize there was no song structure. Then reading it, I realized it looked like it was a poem. And I'm just kind of like, who is she? What's going on? And I think that bodes well, because I would definitely listen to the song again. I liked it a lot. I listened to it about 4 or 5 times in a row just to kind of get into it. And I liked the vibe around it. Yeah. And I think the lyric, so I sit down in the shade, kept going on in my head after I stopped listening to it as well. So I think whatever she's trying to do did work. If that was that might all be accidental. But I agree with all your points, Jenny. And I think that the biggest thing is like if you're a new artist, just keep making loads of different things. And for me as a listener, I'm just intrigued to see what else, because maybe this was just one song like that, and it's got loads of well-produced songs where you can hear it, and it's I would say the at least the texture of the recordings does definitely differ between the EP, if you know what I mean. So this is definitely like, it seems quite purposeful in the context of having heard other things. It seemed quite purposeful. The way it kind of is quite drifty and is quite kind of, you know, like, I don't know, like a weird snapshot of you almost hearing something that you really liked from like
almost like the Beck days or something of the 90s or something, where there's that, do you know what I mean? That kind of weird cross between guitars and beats and the kind of nice, like, I don't know, I want to say like Brand Van 3000, but less produced and less obviously, do you know, like that, do you know what I mean? That kind of cool, like, I don't know, just a summer song. It kind of hit me as a bit of a summer song, really. So, but yeah, so.
I definitely felt like, I don't know if the word is nostalgia or but it felt like there was like good memories.
Rose tinted, yeah.
Maybe rose tinted is the right word, yeah. And I felt the video helped that, but yeah, like we say, obviously, like, don't really know much more about the artist from listening to the song or that video in particular, and I think it's a really tough thing to do right now, is to, in a world of social media where we're all sharing and sharing and sharing and sharing, for me to listen to a song and actually go around someone's YouTube and social media and to come away from it going, I don't actually know anymore, is I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and that you want to, and
a good thing,
especially when it's coupled with "and that you want to," if you know what I mean. If it's I don't know anymore and I'm fine with that.
I don't want to know anymore.
yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily score it, but
Okay.
if I were to give scores now, I think I think probably maybe a 1 for the video, just for I might have liked to have seen more about the artist in there, but I completely appreciate and understand why we're and I think we're all gonna have that. For the song, I will give it a 2. I think it kept me. It made me want to listen to it again, and I think especially after reading the lyrics, I think I twigged a little bit more about it. And the artist, I'm going to give a 2, but only because I don't know my opinion yet.
Cool.
That's nice.
I'm intrigued, which I think is a good thing. But
yeah, cool, wicked. Cool. Well, let's move over to Tash. You've got the hardest job now because everybody's talked about it all so much.
I know. No, but now I can. It's quite interesting hearing everyone else bring up the same things that I kind of latched onto, but I had completely a different view of it. It's quite interesting.
Okay.
Like with the vocal mix thing, I kind of liked that it wasn't
submerged a bit. Yeah.
I liked it. It was almost like it was part of the atmosphere. That it wasn't like, if she did every single song like that, maybe it wouldn't work. But I think for this song, it kind of like, it's almost like she was trying to set a mood in her memory or something, and it's quite faint. Which, in an artistic way, I think that works quite well. I put down in my notes, because I wrote notes as well, that it starts a bit weird, but why not?
But why not? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like banging and like, okay, well, you've got my attention. Like, how did you get it? Yeah.
I was thinking, like, I actually tried to rewind it because I thought maybe I started the song
in the middle of something.
But
I did the exact same thing, I actually went back. I was like, did I skip to the middle?
Yeah. So I thought, okay, maybe that's something that, it could be a new thing. Songs evolved. The way you write songs throughout history has changed. Maybe that's going to be the new thing. So
certainly interesting things to do. At least
it was a mistake, man. Do you know what I mean? It was a mistake.
Maybe, but
my little brothers always used to say, on Madonna's Frozen, there's that bit where like it's all like atmospheric, and then that little drum machine just goes, and then there's no more drums for a little bit before it then kicks in. And they always used to say, "Oh no, the dude pressed the drum machine by accident."
That could have happened, but
Yeah, maybe it might be why they kept it. The chunk on Radiohead's "Creep" was just him sound checking his guitar. He didn't realize that was a recording take, and it took 70 times. It took like 70 odd times to get the second one on the second verse right, because it was so difficult to replicate. So, sorry, you were going to say, Jenny?
Sorry?
You were going to say something.
No, it was the best bit on that track for me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, where would it be without it? Yeah, exactly.
It makes it stand out. What else did I put? I put down That it sounds quite homemade, like she just made it, on a computer at home, and I like that kind of thing. Like it's not overproduced. It's like just someone that's like wants to, almost like a diary entry. Just someone's writing out something that she's thinking in the moment, and that and it kind of suits the video. I think the video suits the mood and the kind of low vocals.
Snapshot
And
memory.
yeah, I kind of see it
glances and
more.
things,
It's not like a verse chorus kind of song. I see it's more like art. It kind of like, it's almost like it's visual almost.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
colors and textures and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I found it interesting. And I think I prefer interesting things over kind of you know a song that would be good on the radio. I prefer
Right,
to be able to go, yeah, the intro's weird, but at least it
yeah.
sticks in my head a bit. So yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
I
I
like that,
definitely was thinking weird things like Beck and Eels and things like that when I was listening to it in a strange way, like kind of, like the weird kind of alt rock stuff that was in the 90s that had like hip hop beats almost in it and stuff, and kind of felt like a bit more lo-fi, like Beck's first album on Geffen was just literally the 4-track tapes taken and put through the studio like process, if you know what I mean. So that kind of thing, really did strike me as kind of a homemadey 90s aesthetic to it, which was really nice, which I'm all down with, obviously. But
Yeah.
So what did did you have anything more to add on the
no, not really, because I think everyone's kind of touched on most of the things, and I agree with pretty much what everyone else has been saying overall.
Yeah.
The rating thing. Oh, okay, I didn't do that.
Sorry.
What was it? Video.
Video, song, and
maybe I'll give that like 1 or something, because I know she probably just got stock footage or something.
Right, yeah. Spent quite a long time though, going all through the different decades of stock footage, I guess. Didn't just get
I suppose so. No, it wasn't as simple as that. Like just going onto the stock website. Yeah, right, that one. No, it was more than that. But yeah, and it suited the video. So maybe I don't know. Can I give 1.5 or something?
Yeah, you can give as many. Like we'll break it up into. I think we can go as far as like 8ths or something. But yeah,
like 1 4 8. But no, yeah, 1.5 or something, because it's hard. It's locked down. Like, doesn't matter.
Cool.
The artist.
Artist 2, cool.
Yeah, again, like what Chris was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know enough, but I'd like to know more. So that's why she should have 2.
Cool.
What was the other one? The song.
The song, yeah.
I would say out of all 3 of them, I probably liked this one the most, so I'll give it a 2 as well.
Cool. Wicked, awesome. That's pretty respectable, I think, all across. Yeah. Especially, I like the fact that everybody's kind of given the artist a 2 whilst not actually having seen anything of them. That's pretty, like, that's not a bad achievement, really, is it? Like, I wish I could achieve that, like that. People could just not see me at all and still be that interested. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I need to put myself in people's faces for them to even recognise that I'm here. But
I think just making a song deserves a point.
It's letting the song speak for itself, I'd say, if anything. Like the one thing of if the video is a video from, like, let's say it is stock footage because of lockdown circumstances, it's more entertaining than maybe a lyric video, or more fitting to the song than just having the album cover.
Yeah.
And then the not seeing the artist, if after all of that, the only thing we have left is to listen to the song itself. And I think that's what we want to do as musicians, right? Just get people to listen to the music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's what it's all about, really, isn't it? It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's interesting.
Cool. So moving on. Well, let's go then. Okay, well, both of these other acts, it's kind of unfair of me to pit them against, because the others both have a bit more time under the belt and everything, and have been working at it for a while, and it's not their first videos. Well, let's do Delilah Bond quickly. So Delilah Bond, the homework video that I sent you, that was made during lockdown by her herself. She edits her own stuff, and I'm pretty sure she plays and produces and mixes everything herself, I'm pretty sure. If she doesn't, then it's not for the need of not, you know, I think she can, if that makes sense, like, and does it most of the time. So yeah, and she's from a band called Hands Off Gretel, who are kind of punky rocky female fronted and bassisted band. And yeah, this is her solo thing that she kind of was spawned kind of as a result of, and kind of, you know, happened during lockdown. So
Do your homework, 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 do your homework. Grab that pen, boy, come on, do your homework, 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 do your homework. Grab that pen, boy, come on, do your homework. Yeah, think you got it in the bag, do you? Drop down in your lap, do you take me for a fool? Skinny bitches, are you thing? Are you kidding me? Man, like you make me wanna eat and eat and eat. I don't need a man, I make me feel confident. I don't need a man, I make me feel beautiful. I don't need a man to wear me on his arm, cause I'm an independent woman and I'm powerful. I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you at all. My eyes left my head as I roll off the floor. And I suggest you learn, you better pick up line than just being a creep line all of the time, yeah. Do your homework, 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 do your homework. Grab that pen, boy, come and do your homework.
Chris, you're on screen. Go on, you go.
I can jump in.
Yeah.
I felt that I really liked the production because it reminded me of the early days of NERD.
Right.
Like very much like almost like Rockstar and Lap Dance. It kind of had that grittiness to the production, but still did actually sound quite clean and something that you could do a lot of different things with. So I quite like that. Obviously, purposely edgy, I think is the kind of words there. Visually, I think it was really striking, and it definitely got the message across with all the imagery of chopping various different vegetables, which is absolutely fine. I didn't mind any of that. It didn't make me kind of what's the word? It didn't make me queasy or feel like anything bad was happening to me. So that was fine. But, yeah, definitely like production value of the video is really, really good. I had actually seen some of her stuff before, which was a John Lennon Imagine cover that she did just a couple of weeks ago. It actually came up just randomly on my Facebook. So I was interested to see that you submitted this track of hers. And the one thing that I'd say I didn't like much about this track was that lyrically, I feel like she let herself down. And it's like, I have some of the most repetitive and boring choruses, but I always try and make sure that the verses make up for it if that happens. Right. And I didn't think that was the case within this. And some of the stuff that she did on the other track I heard like had real meaningful and poignant lyricism to it. And I felt that that's what was lacking in this track. So I tried to forget that I even heard anything before and was like, just listen to this one and kind of take it from there. Great video. I'm probably not going to listen to the song much more. I listened to it 2 or 3 times for prep for this. Yeah. I'm not in any desperate mood to go back to it. Based on it, I don't think she cares either.
Yeah. Not really. No.
Just gonna throw that out there. I don't think it matters. Love the ability of how she puts herself across as an artist, though, and I love the how good the production quality of her videos were, and how striking, like even just things like her hair and her wardrobe and all of that stuff was. I think she handles herself brilliantly in that respect, and she knows who she is as an artist, which is I guess you can't really give much more than top marks for that.
Right.
For the song, I would probably give it a 1 because it isn't what I would have. It's not what I'm going to go back to listen to. Although I did really like the production. So if you want to give it like a 1.5 or a 1.8 or whatever, then I would definitely say, like, it's the kind of track that I would love to remix,
Right.
but not the kind of track that I would kind of
Right. Yeah.
get involved with and listen to a lot, which sounds a bit weird, but
No. Yeah. That makes kind of sense. Yeah.
so yeah, I think artist and video are probably top marks, 3 and 3, and then song I'd probably mark down to a 1 or a 1.5.
Yeah.
But that's just what I took
And
from it, and I felt I would have loved to have heard a lot more. I don't know if the word is like better wordplay with the rhyming. It just felt quite. It felt very in your face, and like, I'm gonna say this and make you clearly understand what I'm saying, which is not bad at all.
It sounds weird, but I think it reminds me of Limp Bizkit in the way that it's not like the worst wordplay ever. There's some funny lines in there, so there's some really entertaining stuff. I'm saying this as someone who really I really love that track, and I think it was like when I found that was the first thing I ever saw of it, and I was like, wow, who's this girl kind of thing. Like, this is like a proper artist. And then something about the track and the video and everything, that was the first thing I saw of hers. Now she's actually got like tons of videos. They're all really, really good. The songs, I guess you'll probably find your favorite, if that makes sense. Like, because, you know, she does a lot of different stuff, and some you'll find more this way inclined and more that way inclined or whatever. But yeah, I do find maybe that track is quite like more new metal in a strange way than like hip hop, in that it's saying a lot of things in quite a rhymey way, but they're not necessarily the hardest structured like rap verses ever or whatever.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And it's I think as an artist overall, you're right, she's probably got a lot more. And even just from the difference of seeing that and the one other thing I'd seen before, it is like night and day. So it's kind of a I guess it's a first impressions thing, and you might get one side of her one day and one side another. Yeah,
which is good, I guess. That's a cool thing for an artist, isn't it? Yeah. Or a person. bit hard to live with, maybe, like in terms of, you know, like one person one day and a totally different one the next. But yeah, I guess again, she didn't care what I think. So Tash, let's go to you then.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. I'll start with the more negatives, and then I'll say some.
Okay.
Positives. Yeah. It's just my personal thing. I've never been into these kind of I'm an independent woman songs. Like, I'm kind of like, you know, when Destiny's Child did it, I was kind of like, all right, then you're independent. Just get on with it. Whatever.
Okay.
Just make a song and dance about it. Just be independent. So I don't really. Topic matter kind of made me a bit like, oh, okay.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And also, I thought that if you're gonna sing about this topic, then at least have a bit more substance. There's so many things you could say about, you know, that topic and men, the evil things that men do.
I think in her defense, I think it's spread across her album, if you know what I mean. I think
okay, this is the more light-hearted.
I think
one.
the general concept of Delilah Bond is that she has a lot of beef about men, and in different songs, like there's one which is about having to go, like, walk home late at night and having to kind of keep a key in your knuckles or whatever, just in case you get bothered and all that kind of thing. So in her defense, I think maybe, you know, each song may deal with a different kind of element of
level of it or whatever.
Yeah, or level. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would get into that one, but you know, I never really, the topic and the lyrics were not really that, you know, deep. But like you said, you have to listen to the whole album. But if I'm going by just this song in particular, it didn't really. I wouldn't say that, actually. In a way, it's good because I had a strong feeling, which was like, oh, I don't really like these kind of songs. But at least it gave me a strong feeling rather than me not feeling anything.
Yeah,
which is, to me, I think is good. It's a good song. Even if I don't like a song, I think it's quite good.
Yeah,
because it brought out some emotions, and I think that's what art should do.
Yeah, it made you think about whether you liked it and why.
yeah. It gave me an emotion, which is good. the video, like hearing that she did that all herself,
Yeah.
and the brightness and the colors and things like that, and yeah, I think that was pretty good. Like especially if it's lockdown and
Yeah.
know.
I was like,
I don't know how she managed to do that, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, very talented lady, definitely. Like I was just like, wow, really? Like, and yeah, you can see on her like Instagram or whatever, like she'd show you like behind the scenes bits of her making videos, and she's largely just working within the confines of her house, basically.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's pretty phenomenal, really. So yeah, and obviously she's recording and doing all the music herself whilst in the same situation as well. So
Oh,
so,
yeah.
so that's pretty.
The production I thought was quite good anyway. Like but then I realized why I kind of liked it, because what Chris said about NERD, and when I was younger, I was kind of like, that was one of my favorite bands and stuff. So I liked that. I was kind of like, yeah.
When they re-released the album with the live drums and.
No, that's the one I heard first.
Yeah,
I liked that one. Well, I liked both of them. They're good for different reasons.
Yeah,
but,
that one.
Yeah, I liked
my boat. Yeah.
I think the production was good. What else were we talking about?
Just I guess the so song video artist, I guess. So you got any?
Yeah. Again, I think it didn't draw me in that much. I probably wouldn't like go and seek anything else out or whatever, mainly because of I don't think I relate on certain things.
Yes, cool.
It's hard to say that these days.
Sure.
And it kind of seemed like it was trying to be edgy, but it's not edgy because everyone's talking about this at the moment. So yeah, I wasn't really feeling it, but still respect for like kind of her creativity, and that she did everything herself. And I think overall, as an artist.
You hurt your hand, Tash?
Yeah, I did. Actually, just before I came here.
Oh no! What did you do?
Yeah, I was actually helping this lady get her suitcases off the train, and I heard something click, and this is like my base hand as well, and my whole like wrist is like swollen now. So I'm hoping that it's not a permanent.
You know what the moral of that story is, don't you?
Never help anyone.
Yeah.
She wasn't even that grateful either. She was just like,
oh that's the worst. Oh man.
That's it. That's the thing. Confirmed. Don't help anyone.
Cool. So do you want to give me some points on that then?
The song, no surprise, I'll probably give it 1.
Okay.
The artist, let's say the video I will give 2, and the artist I might have to give 2, because she's done this all herself. And did she also produce?
As far as I know, yeah, I'm pretty sure she does.
Yeah, well then 2, yeah, definitely.
Everything. So yeah.
And just out of respect, I think she's a respectable artist as well. So yeah, 2.
Yeah, wicked. Awesome, cool. And then Jenny, so what did you think of Delilah Bond?
Well, it's very interesting to hear other people who have heard what other stuff she's done. Because one of the first things I thought was, please tell me this isn't all you do. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, I'll read my notes out first, right? So where are we? Delilah, right. Nice name, like the name. There you go. Okay, video. I'm going to start with video. Video is the sort of thing I would expect from those who follow the Illuminati trend. It's true, right? The likes of Lady Gaga, Madonna, Billie Eilish, Katy Perry, Beyonce, Rihanna, the whole lot, right? Only thing missing were the horns, okay, with these things, right? Which I think Delilah is a watered down version of. I find videos like this quite boring. Right. Having said that, I knew it, I kind of felt like it was her apartment, right? Like what Chris said, loved the colours. I just, it was a good video. Yeah. It's just it's just the content within it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an artist. You know, it wasn't. The video's great, but the content within it is boring.
Right.
Because those kind of things I switch off. It's like, oh, come on, man, that's been done. You know, you're a bloody good artist, because she is. You can't deny it. And her approach is 100% professional, and she's striking to look at. She's really, really good. You know, really, really got something. Maybe, I mean, I like men, you know, so I don't really want to see their genitalia smashed up.
Exactly.
I just think, whoa, if that was me, I'd be like, oh, crossing my legs for a second and going, ouch. But I mean, that's a personal thing, right? I guess that's a personal thing. I think I agree with Tash. I think that she could have done so much more with the content of that. It was all about, you know, phallic. That's all you. And it could have been so much more beautiful. It doesn't matter if you're in one static place. You could have brought an awful lot of beautiful things in there. Yeah, you could have had that bit in there as well. But it was just all about that. And for me, it was pretty. For me, it made it.
I did get the impression. I did get the impression that the video was trying to be like kind of in the same way as in a kind of post-Rob Zombie world or whatever. Then like we kind of associate certain things with like kind of. Like, it's almost like the same way as horror sometimes is like just like Snakes on a Plane type horror, where you're like, that's ridiculous though, kind of thing. I think it is trying to be a little bit kind of like stupid and absurd.
Black humor is what you're saying.
I would say even almost like the reverse of frat humor in a strange way, like where it's almost like flipping what a male, you know, kind of sensibility and flipping that on its head. And also because it's in this like kind of, it's presented quite like she's almost doing a cooking program, if you know what I mean. So it's got this kind of, I don't know, and bearing in mind she is actually from the north of England, so like the presentation, the American presentation, I feel like some of that's quite well done in an ironic way, if that makes sense. Like so I feel like, yeah, I don't know, I might have done her an injustice by picking this song. It was just because it was the one that's particularly got me kind of to notice.
It's just, when Chris came up first and spoke about it, and he mentioned Imagine, I'm thinking Imagine's one of my favourite songs. I wish I'd seen that. So I wish now that I would have actually looked at her as a, you know, I might have looked at her differently. But of course, you did send me that, and it was that track that I figured that's the way I feel on a personal level. I don't like about dark stuff, you know what I mean? That's me on a personal level.
Right, yeah,
so,
yeah. And
even though I like dark stuff, you know?
I would say, like, even though, like, it is, even with, like I was saying with Kaito, putting her with these two other acts that are a bit more established and had a bit more years under their belt and stuff, is kind of unfair. Like, music does kind of come across like that. You do just see a video by someone, and that's the impression you get of them first. So I feel like even though it's like an injustice, it is also still fair, because that's kind of how music works, isn't it? You don't know what people are going to see of you first. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, I gave her a 2 for that.
Okay, but 2 for the video, was that? Yeah.
Yeah. And the song, right? Lyrical content, and I'm going to say this because I wrote it down. Lyrical content, skinny bitches, right? Okay. And I don't need a man has become far too cliche, and it has. Because I hear it in an awful lot of songs, and I'm sorry again, I've got to switch off. It's just not for me, you know what I mean? But it might be for somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is a turn off for me. Not sure of what a man would think about it, right? About that. Maybe she has a personal vendetta towards the opposite gender. That said, I actually think that it's a good song, because I do. Then when I took my gripes away from the song, my personal side of it away from the song, I looked at it as a songwriting, and I just think it's a fucking good song. Excuse me, that's a good song, because you know, it's a good song, commercial and catchy, just the way I like it, and she delivers it superbly. She is a 100% professional artist, and she, you know, and she's good. She's really good. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of how I'm not one bit bothered, but I love like people just kind of doing good bold art. So like if that bold art happens to be kind of taking a pot shot just because I am also a man. I don't necessarily relate as like being like I'm like all men, so therefore we all have to take offense at something in unison. Do you know what I mean? So, and then also I just find it like fun, like in the same way as Eminem, or well, I used to listen to gangster rap. So what can I say? Like then when a girl starts saying that, you know, a similar type of thing flipped on its head about guys or whatever, then I don't need to, do you know what I mean? How can I take offense at that? I like having my buttons pushed, being honest.
But honestly, Lee, I did what I did. I liked her. I thought she was striking. I thought she's like a great mover, great performer. You know, very easy on the eye. And you know, and I actually like the song without them lyrics, but I get the song. You know what I mean? Sure. And you know, and when, like I said, when Chris said that she's got other avenues, I think, well, I'm really pleased to hear that, because you're a good artist, you know, and I would be very interested on listening to that track to hear what else she's done, you know. But I'll tell on the artist now. I gave 2 for the song, by the way.
Yep.
Then the artist, easy on the eye, 100% accomplished. Would be interested to see what else she can pull out of the hat. If she chose to not be a watered down version of the Illuminati Queens, right? Right. She's got a lot going for her, which I know she has anyway. And you know, I'd like to see her do well, which I think she is. And I gave that a 2 as well as for the artist.
Cool. Record, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's interesting. Like, I mean, obviously we all, you know, obviously say, oh, you know, it's been done before and all that kind of thing. I think one thing that I'm trying my best to kind of not turn into my dad. Like when I got in Soundgarden, he'd be like, yeah, it's kind of like Led Zeppelin, isn't it? And it's like, shut up, Dad. No, it's not. It's like Soundgarden. You know what I mean? And so I'm trying my best kind of, and I do notice like she has like quite a lot of, I think, young like girl following who do kind of get quite a lot out of her being this way, like in terms of her lyrical content and her general vibe of like, you know, feminine empowerment and stuff. I do think it's, you know, it probably like some girls who probably need some positive reinforcement are probably getting it from there. So that's probably a good.
So you call like chopping off someone's parts positive? I don't know. Well,
you know, it's just fun.
I agree with that kind of shit. Sorry.
I just thought it's a bit of fun, being honest. It wouldn't be the first time that someone's mimicked a vegetable as a phallic object, would it? Like, first time anybody's put it to, like, you know, it's first time you've seen I don't know. Yeah, anyway, enough about the phallic object. Yeah. So, okay, so let's move on swiftly then to the Soap Girls, who are, Parisian born, I believe, and then lived in South Africa for a while. They were like a young novelty thing where they used to go around selling soap and singing or something like this. And they built up a little bit of a kind of following in South Africa. And then they got signed to a major label deal and were doing quite poppy dancey kind of stuff at the behest of, you know, people telling them what and how and everything. And they got a bit sick to death of that. They're kind of, I would say they're self-proclaimed, I want to say anarchists. And they play lots of gigs like with just body paint on. They had like some quite controversial moments when they played kind of semi-naked or naked or whatever it is, and so. I can
see why. Have you seen their bodies? Damn. I mean, the bodies look the part. They do look very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I'm almost jealous myself.
Faces become barriers, remains the same. Time taken forever, counting down the days. You'll be here soon. I'll be waving at the moon, keeping my heart in blue.
funny because after I know this band, I've known this band for a few years now, and now the fact that they're naked like totally washes over me, like it's not even happening, like totally blind to it, which kind of
Lee, you're
no, I
such a
swear,
liar.
I swear.
It's become normal now.
Yeah, it's really normalised. I can eat
If
my
they were
dinner
wearing
whilst
clothes, you'll
watching
be
them.
surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I can eat my dinner whilst watching one of their one of their shows, and it doesn't like strike me as weird at all. Do you know what I mean? And I think that kind of says something about what they're trying to say, which is that like it's not that weird. It's just a human body kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, everybody's got their lines of where they stand on how naked they want anybody to be, but in a strange way, whilst I'm the first to kind of not want anybody who's nasty to be getting a thrill out of something that someone's doing for the right reasons, like for them it just seems part of the for want of a better description package, if you know what I mean. I think they've been doing it
really beautifully. That nakedness that they have, mind you, it's not my turn, is it? Sorry.
No, yeah, that's right. We can go to you. No, let's do you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I've written them. Well, actually, I didn't need to write them. I wrote a few, not very many. I love everything about them.
Right.
I like the song. I liked that. The nakedness. How it was an art form. I saw it as an art form, and I loved the see-through stuff. It was just like another form of art, and the movement on the beach. And the movement when the girl was walking up, one of the things that struck me a lot was the silhouettes of the band. The band was silhouetted. I kind of liked that. So they were faceless, but they were there. They were relevant. I loved the driving bass line. I loved that a lot. And I think it's a powerful track, it's a powerful video, it's a powerful song. I give 3 for each one.
Wow. Okay. Super scores. Yeah.
It was 100% professional. I mean, when you're comparing it with the others, I mean, it's a bit mean because that girl that did actually do the stuff and she did it at home, and they both did. Their stuff was very, very good too. But I'm prepping this, and you're asking me my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, some girls actually made their own video as well. They made their own video, and I believe broke into somewhere to film the bits that were in the.
Well, they did a bloody good job. They did a really good job. I think it looks really, really good, and I love black and white as well. So, it hides many sins. I'll be using it on mine then in the future, shall I?
So super strong score for that. So have you got anything else to add about that?
Well, the girls are easy on the eye. The song is really good. Like I said, the bass line is rocking, and it's just like professional. I didn't look and see how many hits it had got. Is it quite popular? I don't know.
I think they have like a really strong, for me they feel like a cult thing in a way, because they have a really strong following and a lot of people that really do.
I'm not surprised. I mean, they're two beautiful girls, old ladies, should I say, and with really good songs, and know-how on making videos, and what's not to like. Do you know what I mean? I think it's really good, and I'd listen to it again. I'm not sure if I'd buy it. The funny thing is, right, I've given them 3, and the girls' stuff with the chopping off the willies and everything, right, I'd probably buy her stuff more than I'd buy this stuff. You know what I mean? If she took the willies out and everything and put something else on it, she's fine. But this other one, just because I'm an artist and I can see professionalism, I liked it for all those reasons.
Yeah, well, they're not like the easiest sell in a way, because obviously, like I have all these other elements, but something about them, like there's a obviously all that professionalism, but also some kind of inner charm or something like shines through what they do, which is really kind of like after like probably you've known about them for about 3 years or whatever or something, and they just seem to be stronger and stronger, and like it becomes more and more weird why you haven't actually heard of them through like telly or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh really, these girls should be big by now, right? Do you know what I mean? So I
thought they were.
same old story, I guess. But yeah, okay, cool. So should we move on to either of you, Tash, Chris, anybody want to jump in?
After you, Tash.
Yeah, I'll go then. Well, I put that it was the production work stood out to me. It's very clear, like you can hear each instrument perfectly.
Yeah.
Which is what I liked. Also, like I kind of just liked the overall song because it reminded me of like going like when I was in sixth form, the kind of music I was listening to,
Right.
like back then. Kind of missed the whole guitar music era that happened. I'm hoping that it will come back. Yeah, about the video as well. Like I kind of get what you Lee mean about, like, you know, they were naked, but it wasn't like there's something that wasn't that sexual about it. It wasn't like it was porn or anything. It was like really it was artistic, and it was kind of quite yeah, it wasn't like they were just trying to get attention or something. Oh look, we're naked. It was just like it was normal and it was natural, and I kind of liked how they were moving and things like that, and the cold color scheme. Yeah, like overall, yeah. My main thought was that I had nothing bad to say about it.
Right.
before,
Right.
really.
That's
No.
they had actually.
I'm about to criticize it, but I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing really I could say. Oh, I didn't like that. I mean, I might say that it wasn't my favorite song in the world, but I can't say anything bad about it. Not all. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. When they played on a tour around the UK, they did actually have some venue owners or the pub owners or whatever went and like chucked something on them or whatever, and like, you know, like was in a real kind of like protest against their nudity and stuff, and yeah, like treated them quite horribly, if you know what I mean. And yeah, especially for people who are actually putting on the, do you know what I mean, the show and everything, or like part of the establishment that the show's going on in, or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so it does have a
jealous. They were jealous.
yeah, maybe, I don't know. I didn't see the pub landlord, but I'm guessing he didn't look like that. So
No.
But yeah, I mean, so I think it can be quite divisive to some people, but obviously, you know, as you
also
say,
interesting to hear a story like that as well, when that assumingly, and obviously I don't know the story, but either the landlord doesn't know who he's booking or what kind of artists are playing at their
or
venue.
what the promoter's booking. Yeah, exactly.
They'd probably be, when they were looking, if they do have a cult following and they've done a sellout show, they're not gonna, it's almost like the people that are there do know as well. So
yeah,
it's almost like,
who's it offending?
I understand from the venue's point of view to go, oh my God, what fines are we going to be hit with?
Yeah.
Because
but they
this
should
is
have done the
going on.
research, really, shouldn't they?
Exactly. And the other side of that is, if the people going to the venue know what to expect, the shock is not necessarily there. You're the only one missing that part of it, and it's because you don't know what acts you're putting on in your venue.
We would get
sounds a little bit like your problem, not theirs.
Yeah, exactly. We would get that in Smilex like all the time, where we play somewhere and like the promoter knows all what we're about. Like we jump around, smash things up, and you know, and very loud and spit and sweat and blood and all that kind of stuff. And then for some reason the landlord doesn't know, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And like trying to get me like chucked out of the venue whilst the gig's going on, and like, do you know what I mean?
Some of your best gigs though, Lee, aren't they? Like they're the most memorable, the ones you cherish the most.
Now they're like little medals. They're like little medals that I have. Do you know what I mean? How many gigs have you been actually stopped from doing? It's almost like, yeah, badge of honor, isn't it? You've got your little Cub Scout badges, and one is a fire that you started at a venue, one is a band-aid you've managed to... Stopping a moving boat, like, yeah, all sorts of stuff, yeah. Yeah, so, cool. So, what did you have score-wise, Tash, for...
Oh, video 2.
Mm-hmm.
The song, I'm so safe with my scores all the time. Everything's a 2. 2.
Yeah, and artist 2 as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Wicked. What did you have to say, Chris?
Yeah, I think the production really, really stood out. Definitely just the clarity of everything sounded like it. maybe it was because it was the only track that we were listening to out of the three with instruments, but it felt really refreshing, but it didn't feel like something that I would hear now, which I really, really liked. I loved particularly the drums towards the end where there was like a guitar solo and then it built back in. And it almost felt like it was going to be the end of the song, but there was still a minute left, and it felt like,
and it was a good minute.
Yeah, it was like you're in it quite early and you're liking it, and then it breaks down. You like it a little bit more, and then you've got more of it to listen to. And I think that really, that really stood out as a point that I really liked within the production. Video, knowing that now you said that they broke in somewhere to film it, I think I'll give it a bit more points. But initially, I thought that the video was clear in production of filming and all of that, but I thought their edit job didn't match the production of the song. And that was the only thing where the fades in and out of the way it was kind of, the kind of long fades where you could see two of the same shot. It felt like, and this is a band I actually like, but it felt like Hearts videos. Like the videos in the 80s when people didn't have too much to actually be able to edit with. And I felt that just because of the production, maybe a quicker edit on the video would have made it better. So I thought like, maybe a 2 for this video. But if you say they broke in somewhere, they get a 3 as far as I'm concerned. Maybe even a 4. Like, especially in this environment, if you're going to that length, let's be honest, your art and your artistic expression to do what you want to do for your song, then who am I to give you a lame score for?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're going to that kind of lengths. Love production, love the song. Again, I didn't even really notice the nakedness at first either, which I don't know if sensitized to nakedness by now, but it was more of when I noticed it, I realized it felt like more of almost like not vulnerability, but when you show your scars in a way. And I felt that it matched the lyrics for what they were saying throughout the song because of it being about heartbreak. Yes. If you're saying that's just who they are as an artist, then I've just made that all up. So it doesn't really matter.
They also wear their hearts on their sleeves as artists. They're very, very passionate. If you watch any of their live streams, they'll chat for ages about loads of different things, a lot about political stuff and socio-political stuff and everything, and they do wear their hearts on their sleeves like quite a lot. So I think it is part of the package. If there's a nakedness of the soul as much as of the flesh, if you know what I mean. So
loved it all round. Really good.
So what would you give scores wise for song and thingy then?
I'm gonna go for 3s. Let's give
really,
a
all 3s.
Clear.
Well, I mean that makes it a fairly clear winning prize goes to Soap Girls for that. Yeah, wicked. That's really interesting to know because from my perspective, there was a couple of things that I would have thought maybe would have gone a different way and stuff like with people. So it's always really interesting to hear.
It's pandemic party time to shake the lockdown blues and start feeling fine. We've got to break out of this prison of the mind. Get grab an ounce of joy in every good thing you find. It's time to raise the roof, shake the walls. It's pandemic party time for one and all. It's time to raise the roof, shake the walls. It's pandemic party time for one and all. Raise the roof, shake the walls. Raise the roof, shake the walls. Raise the roof, shake the walls. Raise the roof, shake the walls.
Cool. Well, I think we've done more than enough for a show. So let's just quickly whiz around and do a quick plugs kind of session. So what's everybody got coming out? What do you want people to pay attention to and go and look at? Let's start with Chris as you're on screen.
visit halfdecentmusic.com or type in Half Decent on any social media, Spotify, whatever you listen to music on. My album's called Groundhog Day. It's out now, and I'll have a mixtape of the same name, illegally out wherever you can find it, on the February 2nd. So yeah,
Awesome.
halfdecentmusic.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And Jenny, you're next in my viewfinder. So,
Well, because of the things that have been going on in America, and like Amazon and Google have become fascist and compromised by the CCP, I'm having to kind of break down my massive audience. I've gone off Facebook, I've gone off Twitter, I'm just about to go off Instagram after this. And of course, now my fan base is gone. So there's nowhere for you to catch me. You can catch me on MeWe as Jennie Matthias, but I have a funny feeling that all these big technocrats are going to be going away, and people are moving really fast towards these other free speech platforms, where then I can build my audience up again. But I do have a website, I just can't remember what it's called.
Jenny,
I can't remember what it's called. If I'm going to plug anything, it might as well be my book then. So, which is called Surviving the Storm by Jennie Matthias, Jennie, and Matthias, Mattias, and it's got 5-star reviews, and it's on Amazon, and it's called Surviving the Storm.
What's your elevator pitch? On
My elevator pitch.
Yeah, for the book. What's it about? And
I'm not gonna give. And what's it about?
Yeah.
Funny enough, it's a self-help book. So It's got like a synopsis. It's got a poem that relates to the whole book, and that's like a 4-minute poem. But then it just goes into this self-help stuff. I don't know why it came out, but it came out that way. And it will make you cry, some of the stories that people have come up to me and said, "My God, this book is just my Bible." And I'm like, "Wow, really?" I couldn't believe it. And I've never done anything like that before. And so, yeah, I do a lot of helping people, by the way, so as well as the music.
Awesome. Well, yeah, awesome. And hopefully, well, you'll be hearing a lot more from you over this year anyway. I just teased that a little bit. But yeah, okay, wicked, Jenny. You look like a proper revolutionary there. You look like you're about to just go out and like do a quick like rebel like attack on something anyway. You with your
put the black mask on and just that's the baby. I'll do it quite often.
Awesome, yeah. And Tash, so yeah, let's have your plugs.
Oh yeah, ours is a joint one, really, isn't it? This month, I think. Really. Cool. So I'll let you take over talking in a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'd rather hear it from you, being honest. But yeah, it's your singles out and singles club. Do go and check out your album, the 13th. Not you, obviously. You don't need to check it out.
I've heard it, yeah.
But yeah, everybody do go out and check out the album, because it is really great, and that's the reason that the single even kind of happened in the first place. So yeah, but the singles club is information on quickfixrecordings.com. And it's if you give us a tenner, then you'll get a song by a brand new artist in your inbox on the 1st of every month for a year, and you'll also get a welcome pack of 12 songs, and there'll be like little special performances and bonus remixes and bonus tracks from Quickfix artists and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, just go to look up the Digital Singles Club on quickfixrecordings.com, and yeah, and obviously Quickfix have tons of other stuff both out already and coming out in the next little while. So yeah, but do check out Tash's Single Human, because it'll be streaming by the time this comes out. It'll be about a week before it's either on Bandcamp or then like 2 weeks before it's streaming or something, or maybe it's the next week or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But something it's like probably by the time people are hearing this, it's probably out, and you could just hear it on Spotify. So
probably already listening right now.
1,000 times. Listen to it 1,000.
Do you have anything on YouTube? Have you got YouTube?
You've got a video, haven't you?
Yeah, I have I brought out a video during lockdown called Black Cloud. It's one of the songs that's on the 13th EP. So check that out.
That to me, really?
I will. Yeah. I'll send you
yeah. So check that one out. The EP's on all of the streaming sites and all of that. It's on Bandcamp as well. That's the main place, because you can actually buy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
No, brilliant.
Wicked. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me and doing this. Sorry it did end up with all the breaks and everything, but yeah, we got there in the end. So thanks very much for doing the experiment with me. You're my first guinea pigs. So thanks. Very lovely guinea pigs you are too. So yeah, awesome. And yeah, have a lovely week and the rest of your lockdown. I hope it's good for all of you. And I no doubt speak to you all at different points through the coming weeks. Awesome.
yeah, and nice to meet you, Jenny, and
you too, Tash.
see you
You
again.
Nice to see you all.
Decent.
You too.
Really good.
You too.
Awesome.
All right then.
Great. Thanks very much, guys. I'm going to
All right.
press end on this. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Cheers.
See
Bye.
you later.